While IJin was changing, outside the training ground, members of Team 2 were being scolded by their captain, all exemplary figures of SW. It's embarrassing to be defeated by a kid. Everyone brace yourselves for hellish training mode. Poor guys, just because IJin fought so fiercely, now they have to listen to the scolding. Starting the mission, IJin accompanied Ji's security team to escort her to the company. The convoy consisted of 2 vehicles with 5 bodyguards in total. IJin was privileged to sit next to the boss, but he only focused on observing the surroundings to respond in case of emergencies. You seem to have a talent for being a bodyguard. The way you passed the training shows it, remarked Ji. IJin humbly replied that as a student, his seniors let their guard down. And if it were a real battlefield, the outcome might not be as easy. Good-looking and eloquent, man. The boss is smitten with him. Upon arrival, IJin stood guard outside the door with Ji's close bodyguard. Curiously, he asked, "The skills you displayed earlier can only be honed through proper training. Where did you receive your training?" "I learned it from where I live," replied IJin. The bodyguard had no idea where IJin lived. "It's a place where the laws of nature apply, where guns and bullets surround you. Relaxing your vigilance could lead to immediate elimination." Late at night, while escorting Jai home, IJin noticed a slightly different headlight from a car across the street, prompting him to raise his vigilance and carefully observe the other party. Unexpectedly, the driver of that truck was dozing off, and the vehicle veered into their lane, aiming straight at IJin's car. The bodyguard driving at the time managed to swerve to avoid a head-on collision with the truck. The truck hit the roadside and came to a stop. "Is the director okay?" The close bodyguard turned to check on Jai, only to find IJin using his body to shield her from the shattered glass. After a few minutes of checking, aside from minor damage to the car, no one was injured. "Thank you for protecting me. Although you seem fine now, you should still go to the hospital for a thorough checkup." Jai expressed her gratitude. "Yes, ma'am. But more importantly, you should always wear your seatbelt." "Those in the back should buckle up too," IJin replied sternly. Indeed, the male lead is different. He even admonishes his boss, who only knows how to comply with a polite yes. Today being a day off, IJin went downstairs and found Daeon preparing lunch for him and their grandfather. They decided to bring the meal to their grandfather's workplace. He works as a security guard at an apartment building. Whenever he has free time, he sorts out the trash to prevent the bins from getting messy. IJin and Daeon arrived to deliver lunch. Seeing their grandfather busy, Daeon and IJin rolled up their sleeves to help him quickly finish his tasks so they could eat together. Surprisingly, Mr. Xiao and his colleagues were nearby. Seeing IJin, Mr. Xiao was curious. After being explained by his subordinate, he learned that the old man and the girl were IJin's relatives. Seeing the 3 of them happily together, he didn't want to disturb the atmosphere by greeting them. Didn't think he knew how to smile too. He really does look like your average teenager. After finishing sorting the trash, the whole family had a warm lunch together. In the evening, when Grandpa was returning home, he noticed a gangster teenager parking his car blocking the entrance of the apartment building. So he went to remind him, "Hey, young man, that's the pathway to the parking lot. If you park your car there, it will cause inconvenience to the residents here." The gangster teenager replied rudely, "You want me to park this car in that tiny-ass parking lot? Then if some other car ends up scratching mine, are you gonna reimburse me for the damages?" As this teenager was about to approach, suddenly a hand from behind grabbed him by the collar and pushed him down. It turned out to be Mr. Shea's subordinate who had seen the situation and intervened. "Who do you think you are to grab my neck like that? Look at my face. If you dare to be rude to this person again, I'll beat the 2 of you up. Get in the car and leave now." After resolving the situation, the 2 of them bowed their heads and got into the car. The subordinate turned around and cheerfully introduced himself as a friend of IJin. Grandpa also thanked him for his help. Back at Mr. Che's house, the subordinate recounted the recent events. Mr. Chow was pleased and praised. "You did well, keep it up." Suddenly, IJin stormed in with an angry look. "Jesus, what now? Why are you storming in here all of a sudden and giving us that look?" IJin immediately showed Mr. Chow his phone, which had a picture of his subordinate, smiling with Grandpa IJin. Then IJin coldly said, "Are you guys trying to threaten me? You misunderstood. Mr. Xiao tried to explain. Stay still. Let me explain. Don't come any closer. The next day, he went back to SW to train with Team 3, Yona's security team. In the locker room, IJin asked Seok-ju, I heard you're not going to be a bodyguard anymore. What happened? Seok-ju replied, Actually, I was never an official bodyguard from the start. Since I grew up with Yona, and luckily saved her a few times, earning praise from everyone, I continued to be her bodyguard. But after the recent incident, I decided to step back. As they exited the room, they saw Yona waiting at the door for a while. She explained that since Seok-ju would be leaving his position as a bodyguard, she wanted IJin to take his place. Since today didn't require dressing up or being serious like when accompanying Ji, IJin agreed. The destination was a convenience store near IJin's home. The three of them sat down to eat like normal students and chatted together. While eating, Yona always initiated conversations, but IJin was dry and just tried to get through it. Looking at the girl in front of him, IJin recalled the final moments of her father's life. It was a difficult task, and he had tried his best, but could only rescue Yona's father in a critical condition covered in wounds. His biggest regret was not being able to see his beloved daughter before he died. Yona, can we talk privately for a moment? Seok-ju understood and left to give them privacy. Inguk-sin, what was he like? IJin asked. Why are you asking about my father? He was a busy man, often traveling for work, so I wasn't very close to him. When I heard he was sick and didn't have much time left, I rushed there but still couldn't meet my father for the last time. Honestly, I still hold some resentment towards him. IJin explained, your father worked tirelessly to be able to come back and see you. IJin recounted the time he spent with him. He had sacrificed his own happiness to build structures to help poor families have housing. And when he knew his time was up, he entrusted IJin with delivering his final words to his daughter. After fulfilling the wishes of the deceased, IJin left, leaving Yona tearful as she reproached her father.